Hello, this is Michael with SmartPTT, and today we'll be talking about how SmartPTT is beneficial for K through 12 schools. Some of the main challenges by schools will be making sure the environment is secure for students and faculty, that they're safe and protected. Efficient communications with staff, whether it be administration, security, transportation, emergency management, and if law enforcement needs to come on site, that you can have interoperable communications with law enforcement. Efficiency of the employees and their work, and ensuring that they maintain proper radio discipline. And then in today's world, cybersecurity is a very important topic for any organization. So some of the key benefits for schools K through 12 would be efficient communications, being able to clearly identify who is talking and on which talk group. And you can monitor multiple radio channels without having to switch channels on a radio. It's all front and center. Ensure radio discipline and control. You can use like a request to talk feature, which I'll demonstrate shortly, as well as you can use transmit interrupt, radio block, and then interoperability with public safety communications. From a cost savings perspective, if you can work more efficiently, you can control your workforce size. So this way you avoid having to hire more staff to do more work when you can do more work with your same level of staffing. Avoid costly litigation. If you are recording the voice, you're recording the events that happen within the radio system, you can use that to help show that you followed your processes. Employee safety, knowing where your buses are located and where they've been throughout the course of their shifts. Emergency alerts, notify the dispatcher when a radio user presses their emergency button, or if lone worker or man down trips the emergency. And when an emergency happens, you can use remote listening or video integration with the Vigilon cameras to gain a situational awareness so you can respond to the emergency more accurately. And finally, employee efficiency. You can monitor the progress of assigned tasks using job ticketing to make sure they're done timely and accurately. Employee accountability using reports and event logs. We have like a radio movement report. So if you want to track where a school bus has been over the course of their shift and how long they stopped somewhere, how long they were moving for, that report would give you that information. And then be sure that employees are where they should be. Or if somebody goes into a prohibited area, you could notify the dispatcher as well. Key features, core features of SmartPTT include voice dispatch, which enables you to talk to your field radios, emergency management, receiving that emergency alert from field radios, rules and alerts, telemetry, radio fleet management. Custom console gives you the ability to customize the look and feel of the console interface, and that could be unique for the organization or just unique for each dispatcher. Event logging, job ticketing, text messaging, and all the cybersecurity elements that we're incorporating into the product, like LDAP for Active Directory. Optional features, the first two, voice recording and GPS, those are standard in SmartPTT Enterprise currently, and then in Plus, they're optional features. All the other features are optional, which in both products, which include radio network bridging, indoor location, using Bluetooth beacons, telephone interconnect, so radios can make and receive telephone calls. Direct IP connection. This helps reduce implementation and maintenance of the dispatch system. System monitoring monitors the health of the radio network. The web client enables you to log into the system from a PC's web browser. Avigilon support enables us to access cameras in the Avigilon system within the SmartPTT GPS map. And then we do have a mobile client that's available in enterprise globally. And then in Plus, it's currently available in Asia Pacific and Latin America. To reach out to our sales team so we could take you on a demo, or if you want to get a quote on SmartPTT, you can reach us at the contact information on the right. For North America, you can see the blue area represents Western North America sales, and the green area on the right represents Eastern North America sales. With that, I'm going to go ahead and move us into the demonstration of SmartPTT. So what you're seeing on the right 2/3 or 3/4 of my screen is what we call the custom console. With that, I can create my own look and feel. I can have more detailed. So here you can see I have all call, an alert tone, different talk groups. I have incoming events. But then I can also greatly simplify it if I wanted to. If I just wanted to have a few icons out there, and maybe I want to move my event log underneath that, I can then just move that right there so I have more things on one screen. I'm going to go ahead and push this back up here. And we'll go back to this screen right here. Now, within a MOTOTRBO radio system, you have 3 levels of communication. You have your all call, group call, and private call. So with the all call, that's to let everyone on the radio system know of an important event. It could be like an active shooter type situation, you need to do a lockdown, or maybe if there's just lightning in the area and you want to tell people to seek shelter. I can first generate an alert tone, which is going to send an emergency alert tone out over the radio channel, gets all the users' attention. But then I can follow that tone alert with a voice call and let everyone know what that important message is. Now, the next level of communications is your talk group level. So you can see I have these different talk groups. I have security, transportation, field trips, and maintenance and operations. So if I want to talk to a bus on transportation, I'm just simply going to press that icon, and I can start talking to that talk group. And if I want to talk to security, I just come over here and I start talking to security. When somebody keys up in the field, you'll see them key up on the upper left where it says Michael Souliard is transmitting to security. But you also see the security icon highlighted in green, indicating somebody's transmitting on that talk group. Now, if I don't want to listen to a talk group, I can simply click on the speaker icon at the upper right of that icon. And now a red X appears because now transportation is muted. If I want to unmute them, I simply just come here and unmute them. Now I can also create interoperability. So let's say there was an incident and the police come on site. If you're able to work out with your local law enforcement to get a donor radio for like their P25 system on a talk around channel that would be unique for your school district, then you could create a cross patch using this orange crisscross icon I created, where I could create a cross patch between police and security. So the police and security would have interoperable communications, or maybe they need it between police and admin. I can also use this green list icon to create a multi-select, which would be a simultaneous voice transmission between different talk groups. So if I wanted to do a simultaneous transmission to the transportation talk group and the field trips talk group, I could do that. Now we also have the ability to do private calls. Now I've created down at the bottom left this radio for Michael Souliard. And I'm going to double click on that, my name, and it brings up this call window. And in the call window, it gives my name, my picture. It tells me I'm online because when I turn on my radio, the radio sends a registration message so that we know that you're on and available on the radio system. When you turn off, it'll give us a power down state. So we now know you're no longer available. It tells me where in the radio system I'm at. So if you have like a wide area link capacity plus system, and then maybe each school just has a local simplex system, it would let me know if I'm registered on the link capacity plus system or if I was registered on the local simplex system. It gives my GPS coordinates below that, then my indoor location, and then I have a PTT button, which I can just key up and talk to that radio. But with private calls, you generally do not want to just key up and start talking to that individual. You want to get their attention first, and you can do so with this call alert icon. So when I click this icon, it's going to start ringing my radio as if it was a telephone. So I can just press my PTT on my radio, talk back to dispatch, and then we can carry on our conversation between me and dispatch. Now, if for some reason that radio does not respond, I can do a radio check. So if I click on this radio check, it sends a ping out over the radio system, and you can see right up above in this history window, it says radio is available CS1. So it says, hey, this radio is out there and it's receiving. So if they didn't answer, maybe they left their vehicle, or maybe they left their handheld on their desk and went into another office. Now, before I talk about this next feature, I want to talk a little bit about the emergency capabilities of the radio. So the radio, like a mobile radio, is going to have a button you can program on the front of the radio to trigger an emergency, or you could even connect like a foot pedal so to the back accessory connector of the radio. So when they have an emergency, they just do a long press on that foot pedal and it will trigger an emergency back to dispatch. With a handheld radio, they have the orange emergency button on top, but they also have the ability for what's called lone worker and man down. So lone worker requires radio interaction, like changing the volume, changing channels, hitting the home button, or PTTing. But if you don't interact with the radio, or if the radio tilts too far for too long, or is motionless for too long, after say 60 seconds or 300 seconds, you can have the radio start beeping at the radio user. If they don't write the radio or start interacting with the radio in some way, at that point, say 15 seconds later, the radio will automatically press that orange emergency button for the radio user. Now, I just had sent my emergency over the radio system, and you can see SmartPTT brings this up. So down at the very bottom, you can see that emergency dialog box where it says that 301, Michael Souliard has an emergency. It also brought me up on my indoor map, and I can have it show me on the outdoor map as well. But there are three things that you need to know during an emergency. You need to know who's in trouble, you need to know where are they located, and you need to know what is the emergency. SmartPTT answered those first two questions for the dispatcher without the dispatcher having to lift a finger. Now, the third thing you want to know is what's the emergency? Now, there are a few ways to figure this out. One is you can program the radio to go into a hot mic state after they press that emergency button. In this case, you train your radio users that if you press your emergency, wait a second, and then start talking, tell us what the issue is. I can also manually force that with this headset icon. So if I click on this icon, you'll see my PTT button go green for approximately 10 seconds, and I'm able to listen in on the background. Now that 10-second timing is configurable within the radio itself. Now we also have the ability to place a Avigilon camera icon on the GPS map. So if my location was right next to a Avigilon camera icon, I could just double click on that camera icon to gain a visual understanding of what that emergency is. Now I'm going to go ahead and resolve the emergency, and we'll go back to normal operation. One other thing here is a radio block. Now there's a few different ways to get some better radio discipline. One thing is you get a lot of situations where a bus driver is trying to reach dispatch, but maybe the dispatchers are all on the telephone with parents. And you get a bus driver saying, "Hey, dispatch," no answer. "Hey, dispatch, why aren't you answering me?" "Dispatch, I need to talk to you." And annoying the dispatchers, annoying the other bus drivers. Well, in that regards, I can program a button on the radio to be a request to talk. So I have a button on my radio where if I just press it, it's going to send that notification of a request to talk to SmartPTT. So let me go ahead and send that now. And you can see I just had a request to talk come in. So now once the dispatcher gets off the phone, they could see a chronological history of who needs to talk to me. And I can go to their talk group and talk with them there, or I can do a private call back to them. But that helps create a little bit more radio discipline so people wait to talk or are waiting until the dispatcher is able to call them back. Now you have some other radio discipline issues, perhaps with bus drivers. Maybe they leave their microphone on the seat and they sit on their microphone keying it up. Maybe their favorite song comes over the radio and they want to share that song with everybody else, and they hold their microphone up to their speakers so everyone can enjoy the song with them. Well, in a case like that, one, I could do transmit interrupt, where I could take the channel over and just be like, "Hey, Michael, you're sitting on your microphone," or "Quit horsing around on the radio channel." If they keep doing that, with this next icon, this lock icon, I can block the radio. It says radio will be blocked. Are you sure? I'm going to say okay. And now my radio just went dead on me. I can't transmit and I can't receive. Now, while I'm blocked, we can still track the radio's location and we can still do that remote monitor. When you take administrative action, correcting their bad behavior, or if it was a case of a lost or stolen radio, if the radio is recovered, you can then unblock the radio. And now my radio is going through its power-up sequence. I also have the ability to send text messages. So if I want to maybe tell somebody to make a special stop at, let's say, 5th and Main, I can send that to the radio and it comes in as a notification saying 5th and Main. I can then do a reply. And let's see here. And I'm sending back a quick reply saying okay. And just waiting for the radio to send that. Now, I also have the ability to tell it to find on map with the GPS. So with the GPS, here I'm just using Google Maps, but you can see here we have this green area. Well, that green area highlight is a geofence I created around the Tinker Verde School District here in Tucson. Now, if we zoom in even more, you'll see this blue geofence. That's for the Emily Gray Junior High School. And then this kind of yellowish area is one I created around the bus yard. So if a bus leaves the bus yard, once their location updates, I can have it update to en route. Then let's say it gets up here to Tinker Verde High School. I can have it update its location once they have it update their status to like Tinker Verde High School or just TVHS once they register the location as being at the high school. Now you can see this red line coming out. That's a route I created. And these pin drops are some of the stops on that route. Now I can have all of those visible on the map, or I can have them invisible on the map just to have a cleaner map view. I can also have it remove me from the map. I can have it tell me an address instead of just a latitude and longitude. Now, in the case of GPS, there's different ways of doing GPS. There's manual, which when I click on that find on map, that is a manual request. That is me asking me the radio saying, tell me where you are right now. Then there's automated or polled intervals. And that is you specify to the radio that I want you to update your location every 30 seconds or 60 seconds or 120 seconds based on different timings that are available. That is automatic. There's also something called in-band GPS. With in-band GPS, every time you push your PTT, it will send a GPS location along with that PTT. When I press my emergency, it will automatically send my location along with that emergency. This way, the dispatcher doesn't have to request their updated location. You can also run a track animation. So if I want to see on the map where a radio went over the course of the day, I would be able to see it play out on the map where all that radio went. If I want, I can do like a report. Up here, we have like this radio movement report, which is going to give me like a start-stop report of where that radio's been over the course of the day. If you also wanted the ability to be able to view indoor locations, so if you want to maybe see where security staff is within the school buildings itself, you would be able to see where people are. These use technology called iBeacons, which are Bluetooth beacons, which transmit a signal to the radio, and then the radio reports that information back to SmartPTT so we can plot you on the map. And last thing I want to show you is like the event log and the voice log. So everything that happens in the radio system gets recorded by SmartPTT. So here you can see the text message saying fifth and main, followed by my OK. When I block the radio, unblock the radio. When I sent my emergency, this is my, when I did the remote monitor, I can just double click and play that audio back so I can hear what happened. So if I missed what was said, or if I need to research an incident, I could do playback of that audio. But I can also just right click, tell it to open in File Explorer. So maybe I can copy and paste that recording into an email to a supervisor. Or I could tell it to download the audio file maybe into an incident folder. But all of this information can be filtered down as well by talk group, day and time, type of event, like a voice call versus a radio block. So all of that can be recorded. Now, for the voice recording, we recorded at two different levels. At the client level, at the dispatcher level, it's basically an instant recall recorder. So you miss something, you can double click, play it back. But we also do voice logging recording at the server level. So you want to record audio for a month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, you can do that with the voice logging recording. Now, I appreciate you taking the time today to learn more about SmartPTT. If you would like your own webinar for us to take you on a tour of SmartPTT and answer any questions you may have, or if you would like us to work up a quote for a SmartPTT system for your school district, please reach out to any of our sales staff. Again, we have the different regions. There's Western North America, which is in dark blue on the map, Eastern North America, which is in green on the map. Then for Latin America and the Caribbean, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and Asia Pacific. So thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to helping you in the future.